Welcome to another Manana No Mas live stream. Today is like one of those emergency lives that comes out of the woodwork. I get up this morning, and maybe you went through a very similar thing. Maybe this has also afflicted you today. But I sign into my computer and I open up Microsoft Outlook, and lo and behold, now I'm not a fan of Microsoft, so let's get clear. This is certainly not a commercial for Microsoft. I sign into Outlook, and it says welcome to Microsoft Outlook. What's the welcome screen for? I've been in Microsoft Outlook for a couple of years now. No, I used to use Microsoft Outlook a decade ago. Fine. And then it had its quirks. They changed from the PC version to the subscription version to the Microsoft 365 version to the this to the that. Every time they bounce things around, things go bad every single time. And so years ago, I was on Outlook, and then I went to Thunderbird. I went to Mozilla Thunderbird. Now, that's one that a lot of people haven't heard of for some reason, but Mozilla Thunderbird is open sourced, and you can make donations to it if you want to pay, but it's open source. You can download it. You can start getting your emails just like that. I want to be super clear. As an agency owner, I don't have the appetite for signing up for, Google Workspaces and paying dollars for every account and for every email and for everything that I want to do. What I want to do is I want to have an email address that I get through my server and port it to my email client. It should be simple. It's email. Here's where we always go with this. And clients are the same way. So when we're with agents, when we're doing agency work and we're working with clients, everyone makes the assumption that because email's been around for so long, it's the easiest thing. But it's not the easiest thing. That's the weirdest part. Email's not the easiest thing. So I get up, I sign into my computer, I click Outlook to see what my schedule looks like, and it says, "Welcome to Microsoft Outlook." Okay, let's see where this parade goes today. So I click the OK button, and it says, "Enter your password to continue." Okay, I enter my password. It says, "Nope, that's not it." I enter the password again, thinking maybe I fat fingered it, maybe the caps lock key is on or something like that. Nope, that's not it. So I go into my server, which, by the way, if I was the end user, wouldn't be able to do this, right? So I go into my server and I update the password in the server and change it. Fine. Go back to Outlook, put in the new password that I just saved. Nope, that's not it either. I go, okay, let's do a manual configuration. Let's try and figure this puppy out. And so I do a manual configuration. Nothing. I try every combination. Is it port 993? Is it port 147? Is it port 25? Is it port 587? Is it port 587 and port 25? Is it, does it need this kind of security? Does it need that kind of security? I go through all of the settings, and sure enough, doesn't take. Well, now I've confused the puppy, right? And I've got meetings to do. I run a business. I don't have just all day to stop playing. I don't have all day to just go, oh, Microsoft needs my attention today. So I say, you know what? Let's do this. Let's delete the account off of Microsoft Outlook and let's reinstall it. Maybe something went wrong. So let's delete the account. Let's reinstall it. I delete the account. I go to reinstall it. No joy. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, and not going to happen before I have an 11 o'clock meeting. But I go to check the status of my 11 o'clock meeting in my calendar, and that has all been erased now too. Why? Because I deleted the account. So now my whole schedule is gone. My schedule is gone. And so now I go, okay, great. I know I got a meeting at 11, and I know I got a meeting at 4. I'm not sure what's going on in between 11 and 4, but I'm sure if I miss something, somebody will call me. Now, is that the way I want to do business? No, Microsoft. That is not the way I want to do business. So I go on my Wayback Machine, and I start rolling my head back. And I remember, oh, Mozilla Thunderbird. Those good folks gave me free email to use for years. In fact, the only reason I went back to Microsoft Outlook is because they had re-released another version of Microsoft Outlook. I was already paying for Microsoft 365 so that I could meet customers' expectations with Word documents and spreadsheets and PowerPoints. And so I'm like, if I'm already paying for Microsoft 365, I might as well use the email server. I might as well use the email client that comes with the suite that I am paying for. I should use the premium service. I convinced myself of that. I should use this premium service. Why do I convince myself of these things? I don't know. Dumb thing. Because right when I needed it today, Microsoft went into the ether. Now, what's interesting is I have 3 email accounts in that Microsoft Outlook account. The one that I use, my default email account, is the one that it can't connect to anymore. The other 2 accounts are working fine. They're working fine. They're almost like test accounts I barely ever use. They're just, I get notifications sometimes in them, but they're not like what I use for business. No. What I use for business can't log into Microsoft Outlook. And just when you think, well, Kurt, you've probably screwed the pooch. Kurt, you don't know what you're doing. Kurt, how can you be an agency if you don't know how software works? You might be thinking all these things. But I download the newest version of Mozilla Thunderbird. It opens up and it says, put in your email and your password. I put in the email and the password. It says, we have found your server. Great. It says, do you want to continue or do you want to go for the manual setup? So I click on manual setup just because I want to make sure that the username is correct. A lot of times, Kurt at Mañana No Mas is the username, but a lot of times these programs will just say Kurt. They'll take the first part of it, right? So I wanted to make sure it said Kurt at Mañana No Mas is the username. I put in the password. I accepted the recommended settings, and poof, Thunderbird's working. So here we are. The free email client is working, and the one that I pay for from Microsoft is not. And that to me is so frustrating. It's the top of the moon for me. This happens a lot. This happens a lot in the tech world, in the IT space. People get frustrated. As an agency, I'm going to tell you, a lot of customers have a problem with email. They can't figure out the configuration. They can't figure out which port. They don't understand an SMTP server versus the incoming server. There's a lot of things that you have to make sure all align in order for things to work. But when you use a tool like Mozilla Thunderbird, you just say email address, password, next. Boom. Chances are it's going to work. Chances are it's just going to connect and you're going to be good to go. But now here's where I am stuck. Now, this is going to become an all-day event for me. All day. Why all day? Because I have different integrations that are working with my other calendar. For instance, my Outlook calendar talks to my Google Calendar. And in a lot of instances, automations work through the Google Calendar and then talk to the Outlook calendar to make sure it's all on that one thing, right? All in one page. So now I need to go and I need to figure out, okay, is Zoom connected, right? Is the Zoom calendar connected? Is the Gmail calendar connected? I got to make sure all these integrations and things are transferred over or set up in Mozilla Thunderbird so that, come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, I can go back to being the productive, responsive person that I am as Mañana No Mas. But if this happened to you today, I don't want you to feel like you're a moron. You are not a moron. Microsoft routinely, like clockwork, has issues with updates and changes and versions and things like this. It's just, I've been bit before. Thank goodness I know how to get out of it. But it's like every time I put down my guard and I think I can trust them to do something right, they drop the ball again. The good news, because I'm all about opportunities within the obstacles. I'm able now to basically rebuild and, how do I want to say this in a way that makes sense? I'm able to rebuild, right? I'm able to create this new email tool for me, this new email client in Mozilla Thunderbird. They've got a new version for mobile, by the way. In case you're familiar with Thunderbird, and the reason you didn't do it before was because they didn't have a good mobile version of email. They now have an IMAP'd version of mobile that can go directly to your phone. So now you can have it in your desktop, you can have it in your phone. They sync, IMAP, it's great. But I now have the ability to streamline my processes. For instance, maybe I don't need, Zoom to go to Google, to go to Outlook, to go to whatever. Maybe now I can just go direct. Maybe I'm going to look and see, okay, Zoom direct to Thunderbird, Google direct to Thunderbird, everything direct to Thunderbird. Bob's your uncle, my schedule's clear. Like, that's where I want to be with this thing. So it's like a good news, bad news story. But again, just wanted to reassure you, if you are in the tech space, this tech marketplace that we find ourselves, and things just go wacky, it's not always you. It's not always like you did, it's not necessarily means that you dropped the ball or you did something dumb. No, I woke up this morning, Outlook had an update, and that update, for some reason, knocked my email completely out. Not all my email, just the one I use, right? And that just falls in line exactly with my previous experiences with Outlook. I can remember using Outlook half a decade ago and having almost the identical thing happen, where I could get it to work for some things, but I couldn't get it to work for other things. And then I would send support tickets, to them, and send support tickets to the server, and the server saying it's Microsoft's fault, and Microsoft is saying you got your settings wrong. And I'm going, that doesn't make any sense. Here are all the possible settings that could possibly work in this thing. And after 3 hours of trying all of the different possible settings, we still can't get in. Cut bait. Cut bait. You don't need to do it. You don't need to get aneurysms from dealing with giant tech monopolies. We have options. So the good news, the great news is we have options. So if you woke up today and Outlook, pooped in your breakfast, don't panic. Don't panic. Download Thunderbird, put your email in that. Maybe you just run Thunderbird for a little bit on the side, right? Making sure you can answer those emergency messages and whatnot, and keep trying to fix your Microsoft if that's like what your company or your boss or somebody says you have to use. But we got to get to brass tacks here, folks. We are busy people. We don't have time to deal with premium equipment that keeps failing. So sometimes we just need to jump the ship and get onto something that works. And in this case, I'm jumping ship on Microsoft again, and I'm jumping back onto the open source program that works like a dream. Folks, I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday, but we got stuff rolling. We got things rocking and rolling. We've got some messaging coming out this week. We released our new pricing last week. We've got a new client this week. We'll give you a preview of what that's starting to look like on their project. And we're just continuing to roll forward and knock things out. We've also got a little piece of drama I might share. I'm not sure if I'm going to share that yet, but we got a little piece of drama that you might really find tasty. In fact, do this if you watch this live or as a replay. Drop in the chat if you want me to share some juicy stuff with you. If you're like, man, pour me a glass of juice, let me see the drama, I might share it. But if there's not really any great interest in that, I might let that one sit. But it's juicy. It's juicy. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Have yourself a good one. Bye-bye.